It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours.
Spanked him, more like killed him, am I right? He's dead. Sit down. Give me rockets.
Double kill.
Yeah!
Spree.
Hello everyone, Eden here with FEMA Games. So, Halo Infinite's multiplayer is out early for everyone and their brother to enjoy since it's absolutely free, and it's an absolute blast.
This gives us an edge.
Grenade out!
Kill. Victory.
It's not completely perfect, however. There's some pretty glaring faults that, in my opinion, as an absolute nobody on the YouTube space, should be at the very least looked into. I'm not trying to speak for the whole of the Halo community or anything, but even though I have this baby face, I've been on this earth long enough to have played Halo since its inception on the OG Xbox One. But Halo Infinite has the potential to become the legendary game we all know it can be, but for now, here's the good, the bad, and the ugly of Halo Infinite multiplayer. I'm going to start off things with the good. The movement, jumping, climbing, grappling, boosting, and repulsor jumping feel absolutely great, and I've seen some pretty crazy things that the grapple shot and repulsor can do.
No scope. Nearing victory.
I'm glad that even with Spartan abilities implemented into Infinite System, there's no loadout selection on spawn, so making the abilities that much more important when they're found out in the battlefield. Gunplay as a whole is also very solid, and I believe the assault rifle and sidekick are near perfectly balanced for core game modes. That doesn't mean that I'm saying all weapons are great and viable. Unfortunately, I learned that the hard way playing Fiesta for 50 matches just to get that sexy Spartan samurai look that I want. But at least the classic power weapons like the Spanker, as you saw in the intro, or the Energy Sword and Gravity Hammer are still fantastic fun to use, but I'll go into that more later on. I also really like what 343 has done with the game types. Maybe not the way they're playlisted, but for the tweaks to the game modes themselves, I can give them props for making some interesting tweaks and stuff. For example, like Oddball now has 2 rounds, so if one spawn was easier to get to the ball, both sides have an opportunity to start from that point. I also really appreciate the fact that going in with making the point counter on strongholds pause while you're capturing the zone that's putting them in the lead makes for some really close, intense games. Like if you're really low or really close and the enemy team has 2 points, but your team is steady capturing that second point, every time that they're capturing it, they're not gaining any more points. So you can still creep up and get ahead eventually at the end of that. Excuse me. But hopefully they implement the objective playlist in the near future, but that's only a minor gripe that I'll dive into a little bit later. As for the map design, I believe overall with the 4v4 maps, the ones that came at launch are pretty good in my opinion, with the design only being complemented by the insane movement equipment that I was talking about earlier, like the grappling and all that other stuff. Lots of areas for varied engagements, many angled surfaces for those picture-perfect grenade throws that kill me time and time again. And once you get an idea of the ebb and flow of the maps, the pacing and the gameplay loops in the maps are just awesome. You just can't be beat. But, unfortunately, that's all the good that I can really think of that stands out as being, yes, this is what I love about Halo. Now it's time to dive into the bad, and I'm gonna start things off with the weapons. Since 343 decided to implement Fiesta mode as their first event playlist, I had to battle my way through many weapon roulette games where the house won 99% of the time. Meaning I spawned in with a plasma pistol and a skewer while the entire enemy team has spankers and hammers time and time again. But I noticed that if you spawn with anything but like the battle rifle, rocket launcher, gravity hammer, energy sword, sniper rifle, odds are you're gonna have a bad time. To me, all of these new weapons have a lot to be desired. Like, the Cinder Shot is a coin flip on most cases, and it's always on tails. Heads just is what I go for, and I lose every time. I feel like the Heat Wave nor the Bulldog are good for standalone up-close shotguns, which I know that the argument against that is that that's not what they're intended to be. Cool. I want one to be added then. I like the fact that the sword, like the only counter to the sword to me is apparently the gravity hammer and ranged weapons. As long as you can keep them out of lunge range, you're pretty much safe. But like even the brute weapons just kind of blow in my opinion. The Mauler, the Skewer, the Ravager, they just kind of feel like off. Either not enough shots per reload or not enough damage in terms of the Ravager.
How did I get an assist for that?
But at least for me. But those Skewer no-scopes are a piece of beauty, I will give it that.
Kill. Double kill. No scope.
I will also say that maybe my views are skewed because I don't normally have the luxury of getting the power weapons during regular games of Halo, so maybe I'm only really frustrated about it because I've just been playing Fiesta too much. But I'll also give a bad shout out to the new stockpile game type. Only because it's the only game type in Halo Infinite that I'll audibly groan about once I notice that's what we're stuck playing. The game's just kind of dumb. It would be one thing if you could progressively fight over like 10 power seeds, and there's only 10 total. So if each team, like you need to get 10 to win, it would be cool if, you know, only some teams got, 5, the other team got 5, and then they all have to fight over getting majority, and whoever has the majority at the end of the game is the one that wins. Awesome. But the fact that they come in waves and waves, it's just fucking stupid because they'll come in from the heavens, and then one group will just go in there with their pulsar, and they'll just boost all of them back to home base, and the game's over in 5 minutes. It's stupid. But since Stockpile is a big team battle game, I don't have to play it too often, which is a relief. What's not a relief, though, is that every big team battle map is in the same biome. Like, it's all this forest crap. I'd rather give us some snow, some desert, give us those behemoths like in Sandtrap on opposite sides holding the flags. Something other than the confusing maze forest. They also seen that the guys at 343 think all the big team battles need to be like 3-lane maps only. It's really weird, and it makes zero sense because they have grapples, boosts and stuff like that, so how are you supposed to have verticality if you have 3 lanes where anybody can just aim up and down and just snipe you and shit? It's dumb. But it's also kind of weird that while limited in space with the verticality, the air vehicles that they do include in Big Team Battle don't have a lot of space to, like, it's very limited. Like, it seems like it's just a bunch of invisible walls everywhere with collision and shit. But yet they still seem somehow to dominate, at least in the Wasp. But speaking of vehicles, everything on wheels feels so slippery and light that I'm pretty sure the Warthog and Mongoose are made out of paper. Some kind of decent bulletproof paper, but paper. The self-destruct mechanic is kind of like odd to me though. Like, I miss the days where, holy shit, my car should not be flaming this bad. Was enough of a clue to indicate maybe you should get the fuck out of it. But maybe I'm not the person those changes are intended to help. I don't know. The Banshee is also made of paper, as stated before, but unlike the Warthog and Mongoose, it's not bulletproof paper. I'm pretty sure if my Spartan just farts on the Banshee, it'll disintegrate into pieces. Things like a wet origami bird. I wish I had more to say about the Scorpions and Wraiths, but from what little I've seen of them, the Scorpion is the better option, but they're very easily counterable on both sides. But now that's just the bad. Now it's time to get ugly. So as you may have seen from my YouTube short not too long ago, and if you haven't, I'll probably just play it right.
This bitch got me paying for skins, paying for skips, buying armor sets, buying weapon skins, and here I am getting owned. I'm so mad, you got me thinking I'll throw
for you. 343 definitely dropped the ball with the Battle Pass system. The fact that I could possibly have an amazing game doing 25-2 and scoring objectives and yada yada, I'll still be rewarded the same 50 XP that little Billy Bumfuck got for being AFK 90% of the match. And I won't even get a thank you message for the carry. I can appreciate the fact that they've told us our feedback is being heard and whatever, and that they've been implementing new ways of progressing the battle pass with XP grants and stuff like that from the event playlist, but why the hell do the challenges have to cycle? Why do I have to potentially spend money on challenge skips just to hopefully get something more obtainable than getting 50 kills with the Warthog turret? The only reason I have all this free time to even think about making this review in the first place is because I don't have any more challenges to complete for the week. I'm done with everything. Every challenge on my list is finished until Monday of next week. And I didn't even unlock everything in the Fiesta event playlist, so I'll have to get my ass blasted again by the weapon roulette system to become that sexy Spartan samurai of my dreams. So at least I guess I don't have to play Halo this weekend, because unless I want to, get a level up in the battle pass once every 50 games. But yeah, that should definitely help the returning player base numbers. Way to go, 343. Bravo. The other really ugly part about Infinite is the fact that there's no options for objective or Slayer game types. Just quick play, bot camp, Fiesta currently, and ranked. I've gotten to Platinum in both solos and groups and don't really have the will to sweat through any more of it, but only because there's no separate challenges for ranked, which doesn't make any sense if they're gonna tie cool badass rewards to luck games like Fiesta. Like, for this, why the hell am I going to basically play weapon roulette instead of just trying to try my hardest and rank up and everything, just to get nothing out of it except the cool little silver emblem that I can put on my gun that nobody's gonna see. It's stupid, and to me, what's really infuriating is the fact that because I had no skips remaining and my last challenge for this week was getting 3 oddball kills, it took me over 20 games just to get a game of oddball to even get a chance of completing the challenge. That's artificially inflated gameplay time that only makes me want to throw it out the window. But I know that I'm a nobody and 343 doesn't care too much about just my opinion, so I know that odds are this won't reach their ears, and that's okay. I made this so I can try my hand at reviewing games on my channel, and with that being said, I hope you enjoyed my review of Halo Infinite's multiplayer. If you did, be sure to leave a like and comment down below about what you thought was good and bad and ugly about Halo Infinite. I'd love to hear any feedback about my thoughts or this video or anything in general. But for now, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go, I guess, be free because I've got nothing else to do with Halo this weekend. Wait a minute, I know what I'll do. I'll play Fire Emblem. But for now, I guess I'm out of here. My name's Eden with Feed Me Games. Have a good one.
Back again.